Yeah. What's really happening in Miami? What they do? So y'all already know who it is, man. It's your boy OG GIGAVELI, aka Mr. Wreck Y'all Open. I know it's been a minute since I read from my book Pressure. That's what I'm gonna do today, man. I'm gonna give y'all a Wreck Y'all story from my book Pressure. If you haven't already got the book, man, you're missing out on a real story about the OG. And when I share my life story, I don't share it to glorify anything. Y'all know what the mission is, to deter these YNs from, going to prison, especially doing much time that OG did. I did 11 years in the state, 16 years in the Fed. So I'm gonna get into the book and get into the reading, and we'll talk about the points that I want to make in this reading right quick. Let me put the reading glass on. OG is a real OG. Getting up there now. All praise to the Most High. So I'm gonna read this 1995, man. I'm gonna read from y'all when I got transferred to Baker Correction. That's down in the Triangle. We call it the Triangle down near Jacksonville off I-10. So I was mad at myself from getting into dumb shit in a ride. I had left a ride from Belglaze and they shipped me to Baker. After the transfer, I ended up moving from prison to prison. Before I finished my sentence, I ended up at Baker CI, where I would run into my dog, Lil Bo, Anthony Fales. We became dogs. That's 1995. That's when me and Lil Bo really got tight in the joint. I had already knew Bo through the 10th flow and Juvenile, but we got tight on 1995. He had a name in the streets for being a hitter and a real gunslinger. He was doing 7 years for attempted murder. Baker was wide open, just like the muck. I didn't have my connect with the dope gang, because when I was at the muck, I was selling dope and stuff, you know what I mean? The muck was wide open like that. So that made me turn back to the robbery game. Me and a few of the homies started robbing white guys for their wedding bands. That ain't an easy task, y'all, getting a wedding band off somebody's finger. I remember we was coming back so fast, we was selling to this guy, this old head from Jacksonville that had the weed. We was coming back so fast that he had to told, hold up, man, I got too many. My wife can't, you know what I mean? She can't get rid of all of them. So we switched the game up. But before we switched the game up, the captain had already called us down to the captain's office. He was like, I heard, he knew what we was doing, but he didn't have proof. Cause, nobody really told, but they got their way of finding out things. So we had to switch the game up. So we heard about this punk who was selling weed on the weight pile. So we got the bangers, that's the bangers, aka them shanks, them swords, and we headed right over there. We sat out there and watched the punk work out on his legs until a dude walked up and we saw the punk dig down into his shoes and pulled out a plastic bag with some sacks of weed in it. That's when I set the plan in play. We would wait until he got back up under the weight to squat, and then we would make our move. My homeboy Gunja, shout out to Gunja, man. Gunja been gone for a minute, man, out of Clover Leaf, man. Shout out to my homeboy Gunja. If you've been doing time, you know who I'm talking about. Free that boy. Gunja was like, damn, G, you trying to kill a nigga. I say, nah, that wasn't true. I wanted him to be focused on the weight when we made our move. So we ramped up on him when he put the weight back into the rack. Gunja grabbed him around the neck in a chokehold. I pulled the banger and put it right into his face so he could see it. He was kicking his legs trying to buck, so I stuck him in his leg with the banger and told my other homie to take off his shoes so we could go. He was kicking, so I stuck him with the banger again, and he went still and started crying and shit. You should have seen all these big muscle bounds. Some other guys working out on the weight pile at the time. They started running off the weight pile, and by them running off the weight pile, they draw the attention of the CO working on the rec yard, and he hit the deuces, which was the alarm. At the same time that happened, we got the shoes off and the bag of weed. We threw the punk down and joined the rest of the big dudes running off the rec yard. We split up and went to our dorms because we knew they was going to lock down until they found out what happened. An hour went by and I thought we was in the clear, but then I looked up into the officer station When I was at Baker, I wasn't in a 2-man cell. I was in an open bay dorm. So they had all us sitting on our bunks, and you could look right up to the officer station. And so I wasn't surprised. I saw the COs looking right directly towards my way. So I wasn't surprised when they came out and started walking towards me. I found out the hard way that Baker CI was tired of all the pressure me and my crew was putting down. So they shipped me and the homies off to another prison. The only good thing that came about from my stay at Baker CI was that's where I got my GED at. I'm gonna stop right there. So let me point out a few things, right? When I kept saying the banger, in Florida at this time, the #1 banger of choice was the lightning rod. The lightning rod, I've got pictures of them right up there. The lightning rod, it's long and it be on the top of the roofs. And they was hot commodity, you know what I mean? We would wait till guys that worked on maintenance, if they had to go patch up a rain, because it's Florida, it's always raining, it's leaking on the roof, they'll take a crew up there. And when that crew go up there, every unit had lightning rods all around. But guess what? They had to keep replacing them lightning rods till they got to the point where I don't know why it took them so long to figure out